Hey everybody, welcome to our team call. We are in the week of Summit, which is insane. That means we are halfway through the year, and this is like the end of our one coach year and the start of a new coach year, which is crazy and mind-blowing. But tonight we're doing a very open call. Jenna and I were talking about like, what do we need? What kind of things does the team need to work on or work through? And honestly, a lot of people are struggling with just conversations and getting through conversations with confidence and having that kind of like posture when you are talking to people, or even like how you're speaking on your social media posts and your Instagram stories, on your videos and whatnot. So we kind of wanted to open up the floor to you guys to ask us questions, to tell us what you're struggling with, to tell us what objections you keep running into, what are people telling you, and if people aren't telling you anything, that just means you're not talking to enough people, right? So Jenna, do you want to add to that?
I think you pretty much covered it. I just want to encourage you guys, don't be shy. I see like a good amount of what I would call veteran coaches on this call. So even if it is something that like your coaches are struggling with too, like maybe bring that up as well, because if they're not on and catch the recording, then hopefully it will help them as well. So this is meant to be a brainstorming call, and of course, if you guys have other suggestions, then chime in and let's all kind of learn and grow together with each other, versus it just being Paulina and I, because you guys may have a fabulous idea and I want to hear it too. So I guess we'll start by saying, who wants to go first? Like, what is something you're struggling with in your conversation? Roadblocks you're having?
I can chat.
Let's go for it, girl.
So actually, I've been doing really well with conversations, but I'll tell you kind of the little bit of the shift that I've made to get to this point, because it wasn't always like that. In the beginning of my business, I've been doing Beachbody coaching now for just over 2 years. And in the beginning, it was a lot of like failing forward. It was a lot of people saying no. It was a lot of me saying the wrong things and word vomiting all over people. And in the beginning, it can be a little discouraging if you're not doing personal development, if you're not continuing to go forward. And I think that when I first started, I kind of toed around asking people the real question of, are you ready to do this? Let's get you signed up. And I just kind of beat around the bush. And actually, a few months ago, Jenna said something that really, when we were doing that Instagram training, and she said something to me that like, I was like, oh my God, duh. Like, she's like, I hate it when people beat around the bush with me. So why am I going to do that to other people? And I was like, oh my God, that's exactly how I feel, because I would rather you come up to me and just tell me what you want. And then we can small talk after I've told you yes or no. And that's, I've kind of been carrying on my conversations now, and it's been working a lot better. And I mean, my transition now, especially with the way we have the Snoop group set up, which is fantastic. If you're not utilizing those, utilize them, because they're incredible. I use that for the 3-day refresh, and I have 11 people signed up, and who bought the complete kit or the complete kit with a full month of Shakeology. Just completely on their own. I was like, what's best for you? And they would say, I think this option. I'm like, great, sounds awesome. Send me your email and your Shakeology flavor. Let's get you started. And then the next day, did you have any questions? I saw you haven't placed your order yet. Like, let me know. And I just tell them exactly what you want, because otherwise you're just beating around the bush and you're thinking that you're not being successful, when it's really just, are you asking the right questions? Are you coming about it the right way? And know that if you've come at it the wrong way with someone before, if they're the right kind of person, they're going to hear you out again. Because there's plenty of people that I've had conversations with in the past who I'm just like, oh my God, I totally freaking screwed that up. They're never going to talk to me again. But that's not the case at all. And I think that we kind of just get in our own heads about that, and thinking that people are going to, just, I don't know, have this weird vibe from us. But ultimately, it's not really about what you say. It's just like how you say it, and how you go about it. And if you're coming at it from the right angle, they're going to be able to listen to you. And if they're not, then maybe they're not your people, and you need to move on from there. So I think that's one thing I've been seeing within my team is a lot of coaches getting down on themselves for getting no's or just not feeling like they're pushing forward as fast as they may think they should. And I think that's another trap as well. Don't compare yourself to the people that are around you. And that's something that I also struggled with in the beginning. So being able to just find what works for you is so important. And yeah, I think just mainly with just ask the question, like, are you doing this or no? Like that simple. And if they're not ready, be okay with that. You know, like I'm very not pushy with stuff. I'm like, totally fine. When's a better time for me to follow up with you? Because I'm putting in the back work of talking to enough people to where it doesn't matter to me if they say yes or no. If they say yes, great. I'm going to get them signed up. If they say no, great. They're going on a follow-up list for next month or the month after, and they're going to become a part of my team because I'm going to keep bothering them. So, you know, like that's just how I've been going about it and what I've been finding works well. So I hope that was helpful.
Amen, girl. We could just end the call right there.
I love
I've been struggling with the conversation starts really good. They're like, yes, 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 you know, like all this stuff. So there's two things. They say yes, yes, yes. I'm like, awesome. They even go to the trouble of filling out my getting started form so I can customize their share cart, which I mean, if you're taking the time to do that, like you've got to be semi-serious. And so then I fill it out and then it's like, holy crap, it takes them forever like to fill it out. And I'm like, hey, just want to see if you had any trouble with the link. Is there any questions? You know, is there something that you want to change, you know, that you've changed your mind on? And they either like ghost or they're like, oh, no, I was really busy. And it's like, always, I'm busy. So there's been that piece, like getting them to finally like complete the share cart order. Like, I don't even know. I think I'm up to like 15 share carts from like, yes. And I'm like, freaking sign up, you know, like finish it. But then it goes to the other side where they're like, oh my God, I'm so interested. So I put them in this new group. And then I'm like, all right, I'll check in on you in a couple of days and see if you have any questions. They're like, okay, awesome. I go back and check in on them. And then they're like, oh, I didn't have time to check it out yet. You know, I'm like, okay. And then they're like, oh, I didn't have time to check it in yet. And I'm like, okay, like, I'm still interested. But then they don't like have the time, they say, to see the 3 posts, you know, and something like that. And so I'm still talking to people, but it's like frustrating. Like, how do I and I asked them, like, is there something that's like hesitating, you know, making you like hesitate to this? Is there something that you're not sure about? Is there any questions that I can answer for you? And then I've said, all right, if you're not interested now, no big deal, you know, just let me know. Have you changed your mind? I've tried like being like direct and I either get, no, I'm totally interested, or they just don't reply. And so I've got like strings of follow-ups to people. Like I have like a stalker, but I'm just like, okay, I'll just put them on next week, you know, like because they're not responding with yes or no. So I don't put them to the next month. I'm just like, all right, well, I'll check in on them next Monday, you know? So it's like a Monday, you know? And so I'm like, okay, people. So I think it's like, how do I don't know, like, I don't know, like, what am I saying or what am I not saying to like either get them to commit or to reply with like, no, I'm not interested. Like,
I definitely have a couple of suggestions for you, and maybe you're already doing it, but I just wrote down a couple notes as you were talking. So I think something that's really helped me is like in terms of regaining control of the conversation and like what's gonna go down here, is telling them like, okay, you know, if you're interested, I need to know by X date because that's when I'm putting in my orders for this. So giving them a deadline and being super upfront with them in the beginning and confident, like, hey, like, this is when I'm placing the orders. If you're not ready yet, then you're going to have to wait till next week or next month or whatever that is. But that creates a sense of FOMO, especially if you're then shouting out the people who are ordering from you and they're seeing like so-and-so ordered, blah, 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 blah. Like you create that energy and I think that will help. Also, making sure you're asking enough questions so you really understand their why from the beginning so you can revert back to that when they're kind of ghosting you and seeing if that will help continue the convo. And then another tip is being okay with the fact that they just may not be ready yet. So, you know, continuing to find new people to fill your funnel with versus getting so like focused on all those 15 share cards you have sitting there, like, oh, maybe they'll order this week or next week or by the end of the month. And then they never do. And that's like that sucks your energy. So, you know, like that's on them. If you followed up with them a few times, if you tried doing the deadline and they're not biting, then to me that's like, okay, they're not ready. So then saying, okay, like I get you must not be ready. I haven't heard back from you. Haven't, completed your share cart. That's totally fine. But do you know anyone? And literally describing that person and asking for a referral. Like, do you know any other moms who are in the 30 to 40-year-old range who need to drop 20 to 50 pounds, who can benefit from this program that's all based around emotional eating, or like whatever it is, be super specific, because if they're willing to give you referrals, and that's going to make them think twice about, all right, like, why am I not doing this, So those would be my tips for that. Paulina, do you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I would just like to ask, most of the share carts, are they people that you've actually like connected with? You already talked to them about their goals, they shared with you their struggles, all that. Okay, so you already got to like
yeah, so there's like a couple like where nutrition was best after we talked and everything like that, so like 2B mindset, things like that. The first couple, not necessarily, and I knew I had to change that, so I was having like more in-depth conversations to kind of get to know them a little bit more. And then the last few have been like really detailed, and then we went over their getting started form and that stuff. And then like, so do you like, after like, is there like a certain number of like they either ghost or whatever that you would delete that share cart and wait for them to say, hey, I'm interested, to recreate it, or do you just leave it hanging in there?
I usually leave mine because like I had a girl who ghosted on me a few weeks ago and who was like, yeah, I'm going to buy the 2B mindset kit. Yeah, so ready. And I was like, cool. And I kept following up with her and she like just ghosted. Well, I saw that she had actually been traveling so I was like commenting and stuff on her page. The other day, I kid you not, I was like, I literally did some meditation and like an hour later she texted me, I just bought my kit, I'm so excited. And I was like, oh my God, I thought this girl didn't exist anymore. So I just leave them there because you never know when people just are busy, like they really are busy and they just forget. And it's our job to kind of like remind them of like, hey, remember when you said X, is that still a thing or no? Like another thing that I got from Jenna, like she talked about, I think you're like, I don't know, you were someone that was following up with you about something and they got you focused on whatever that task was at hand. It's like, okay, that's our job. It's like, they're not all in the Beachbody world like we are. Yes, a travel agent. So her travel agent kept following up with her to get her on task of booking this trip that she was trying to do. And that's kind of like us. Our goal, all we're thinking about is Beachbody and like health and fitness and how do we help our clients. But they're not thinking about that, because they've got other things that are on their mind. So it's our job to be like, hey, refocus, like swerve over here for a second and let's focus again. And they're like, oh, okay, I got it.
Okay, cool.
I love that. I just want to say, I literally feel like it went through exactly everything you said last month. I remember sitting at Jenna's house and being like, if everyone would just fill out their share cards, I'd be at SB like 25 right now, but like nobody's doing it. And last month was my worst month, and it was really, I don't really know the right word, but it was draining. It was exhausting, like thinking how successful you could be if everyone just got their shit together and filled out their share card, and they're not. And honestly, I literally woke up on June 1st and I was like, I had my call with Jenna and I'm like, I am letting go of every single person who I'm waiting on to just fill out their share cart, and I'm just starting completely fresh. And I blew this month out of the water. So I think that like that's probably not the answer you're looking for.
No, that's really good though, because like that energy is more like negative energy.
Even though I feel like I've had people, same thing, super excited, really in it, seem like they're just going to be runners, and for whatever reason they're not. And it's not always what we do wrong. Sometimes it is them. A lot of times it is them. I mean, I definitely agree with Jenna's tips, like creating urgency. But sometimes it's just at the end of the day, like Katie said, and I think I said this to you too, privately, like all we think about is Beachbody. Like I'll message someone and like 3 hours later, I'm like, oh my God, it's been weeks. Why haven't you replied? Like it's literally just been like a few hours. Like that's all I'm thinking about. And they're probably like working, whatever. Like it's not on their mind. And the only tip I have for you, aside from like totally agree with everything that Jenna said, I love creating urgency, and I like try to create so much FOMO. Like, deadline's tonight, and like you can't join me for at least another 30 days. So it's now or never. Like, I mean, obviously I'm still gonna let them join, but like you have the power to be a little strict and really create that sense of urgency. But I did try with the cleanse, this worked really well. Like, I had a lot of people who I had share carts out for and they just weren't ordering yet. As soon as I posted my cleanse results on online, or even day 2 cleanse results, and they saw that on Facebook transformation, they immediately went and ordered. So I think it doesn't necessarily have to be yours. It can be shouting someone else out, or it can literally just be like reminding people that with 2B Mindset, you lost 3 pounds in the first week, or whatever it may be. Just connecting to that market again, showing them how that product worked around the time when you have a bunch of share carts out, is also just another reminder for them to see like, oh, this is working, and like I want to feel like she does, so maybe I'll go. Like, if they're just forgetting to order or need that, I found that to kind of be helpful for me.
Cool, thank you.
I agree with all those things. And to kind of just add a little bit extra, as far as your conversations with these people, and then you send the link out, you're waiting for them. If you haven't already like shared parts of your story, or like maybe some hesitations you struggled with before you got started, that's really important to share too, because we think that like, okay, we put it out on social media, we put it on Facebook, we posted it 3 years ago, they're gonna know exactly like what, how we got started, or they're gonna know exactly our story or whatever. Like, I'm sure there's people on our teams that don't even really know our full stories, right? Just because there's no way. Sometimes you have to kind of like backtrack and say, like, if you're following up with someone, say, hey girl, I understand how you feel. Maybe you're a little scared to start this, or you're worried about, wasting your money on something that you might not know if it works or not. I felt the same way before I got started. Like, I've even included in some of my messages. It took me over 6 months to order my first bag of Shakeology, and I saw Christina every single day. You know what I mean? So just ask them, like, what's stopping you? Like, what's holding you back from getting started? I know how much you wanted to lose those 50 pounds and feel healthier and be, a more energetic mom, or whatever it is, those things that they shared with you earlier in the conversation, like, bring that up again. Sometimes you'll just need that reality check and like that reminder, like, oh shit, like she's right. Like, that tough love kind of thing. And if they're not ready, they're not ready. And honestly, if they're taking, a month to place an order, like, is that a challenger that you really want to be working with? Maybe not, because if they're not serious about it, they're gonna be a pain in the ass. But when the time comes that they are ready and they reach back out to you, then they'll be more serious about it, and then they're going to be an awesome challenger. They're going to get results and fall in love with the process. But if we're like dragging them along, and same thing, like how Michaela said, like she kind of just like let it go. You got to like let those people go. You're here for them regardless. You followed up with them plenty of times. Like, they know where you are.
Right.
Just go look for people who are ready, instead of like constantly thinking about like, oh my God, 15 shirt carts. Like, let it be a surprise when they order.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Thank you so much.
And I just want to add one thing to that too, is, so often when we're struggling in our private messages, a lot of what we can be doing to help comes from what we're sharing publicly. So I think having even more confidence in like that tone in your messaging and what you're sharing, like being very specific about who you're looking for and what type of qualities these people have. Go-getters, or someone who's in a really rough place, but they're finally at their breaking point and they're willing to do whatever it takes. Like, I didn't care how much my challenge pack cost, because I felt that shitty about myself. And I was going to do whatever my coach said. Literally, after getting off the phone with her, placed like an over $200 order. And I had debt from school and all this stuff. Like, I was younger, and I just think that because of her confidence and her reassurance and, just literally telling me what to do, like, this is what we're do, this is when we're going to do it by, I was like, okay, like, she knows what she's talking about. So just getting off even more confidence in that message, both privately and publicly, and what you're sharing will help, I think, too.
Okay, cool.
That, and like recognizing your challengers and people in the challenge groups who are kicking ass and seeing results, like giving people shout outs, even if it's not like a personal like challenger of yours, whatever. Like, if someone posts in the challenge group that they lost 5 pounds or they lifted heavier or whatever, like shouting those things out, because people see that and they're like, oh wow, okay, it's social proof. that it's working and that you're actually helping someone stay accountable and get results. Because, you know, sometimes if it's like a complete stranger from social media, like they don't really know like how well we're coaching and what, like they don't understand the whole process. But when you keep like reminding and putting it out there, like, oh my God, like our group is kicking ass, everyone's getting results, you know, combined total loss of whatever, like that. One time we did that. When did we do that? Mm-hmm. Was it with the 80 day?
I remember that. 80 day we did it with, I think, maybe one other time too.
Yeah, like that's like a really cool post to do, you know? Or like looking into mindset, like coach test group, and I think there was a post there, like of all the people and how much weight they lost so far and whatever, like talk about that, you know? Because maybe that's what someone needs, like they're kind of like hanging on the fence or whatever that thing is. Just because they're like worried. I don't know, guys, literally like my brain is like over here. I'm going to Indianapolis tomorrow morning. I don't even know how I'm getting there. But anyway, so they're on the fence, they're not hanging on the fence. And like, yeah, Jenna said like sharing that transformation or sharing that little like snippet of like what's happening, that's going to create that FOMO, and that's going to maybe help them like be okay, like this is like legit. It's not like some, you know, rap or whatever shit. Let me do it.
Awesome. Thank you. It helps. That helps.
What else are you guys running into? Anyone else want to chime in with like a struggle, a objection they keep getting?
Right, I'm going to go again.
Yeah.
This is, I mean, trust me, I had all the struggles in the world, and I still do struggle sometimes. This isn't necessarily something that I personally have been struggling with, but I know that my coaches have been struggling a lot with. So I'm happy to hear like anyone else's words of advice, and I'm sure they would love to hear it too once they listen to the replay. But just kind of pushing through objections. And I know there's so many objections that we can get out there, but I find, and I did this a lot of times too when I was newer at coaching, if someone says that they already have a fitness routine that they're doing, or they're going to the gym, I mean, first they spill their heart out. They tell you how they want all these changes, and then they're like, oh, they see the price, and they're like, oh, but I'm already going to the gym, or I'm already eating healthy. So, and they just kind of like end it there. I guess like what tips do you guys have for someone who's hitting objections like that to kind of just have that confidence to be able to push back a little bit and speak to how this product could still potentially help them if you've asked the right questions to know that, you know, you can meet them where they're at, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I would say just ask more questions. Like if someone says, oh, I already have a routine going, oh, that's awesome. Like, what does it look like? What areas are you focusing on? Because I went to the gym in college for like a couple months trying to get ready for spring break because I was going on a cruise. And all I did was like go on the treadmill for 30 minutes, still look the same. Then before I said, exactly, like you raise your hand, because a lot of us can relate to a similar thing. Like, oh, I tried going to the gym, had no idea what I was doing, or I was intimidated to lift weights, or I was intimidated to try different machines, and I didn't have any guidance there. Like, so people go because it's like an easier way out, or maybe they have, you know, a free gym membership because they're a student or whatever. At their job, they have a gym. But if they don't have a plan, they're not going to get results. Like, you know? So I would just ask some questions and say, like, you know, what's your routine like? You know, are you working with a trainer? Are you working out alone? Like, do you plan to lift weights or whatever? And see what they say, because then they might realize, like, oh, crap, like, she's right. Like, I have no plan. How do I want to succeed in this? Like, that's like going for a hike, like, without a map, and you have no idea where you're going. Like, how are you going to find out where you're supposed to go? Same thing with nutrition. I already eat healthy. Okay, that's great. Like, tell me what your meals and your snacks look like on a daily basis. Like, is there anything you struggle with when it comes to nutrition? Do you have any cravings? Like, do you binge sometimes when you're stressed or whatever? Like, just keep digging in with different questions and finding ways to kind of relate to them, and also educate them, whether that's with a challenge pack sale or not. Like, just, you know, we're a few steps ahead of some people. I'm not saying we're experts, but we've been doing this for a while. So we could, even a simple tip of like, you should be drinking more water, you know, like, it seems like common sense, but some people don't realize that and they're not doing that. And that's why they're not seeing results. But like I said, regardless of a sale or if someone signed up with you, if you just educate them a little bit or tell them like, hey, go to Pinterest, get some new recipe ideas, whatever, that's helping them in a way, and they're going to remember you by it.
So I definitely agree with that, and like offering that free advice definitely helps to provide value. But in addition, like once you push back and ask all those questions, like what's your routine, something I would do, and this is where having that confidence comes in, and even if you're a new coach, like forcing yourself to have this confidence, even if you're not fully there yet, is going to help you develop this confidence down the road. So something I would say is, you know, you reached out for me for a reason. Like my job as a coach is to help you get results. And clearly there's something that's not aligning in your routine right now because you came to me with X, Y, and Z goals. And there's a reason why you're not achieving those goals on your own. So let me help you. Like, and then once you ask those questions and hear their routine, like, oh, I go on the treadmill the whole time and I never lift weights, or I do the same leg machine, you know, think back to your journey and relate. So when you say like, you reached out for me for a reason, like, let me help you. I too once was a gym rat, which failed me on the treadmill the whole time. And I was frustrated that I was not only not losing weight, I was gaining weight. And that's because I didn't have the total solution. I didn't have a plan where my nutrition complemented my fitness and so on and so forth. And I didn't have that accountability of a coach or a group. So that's why these programs have really helped me. So I think, again, confidence, even when you don't fully have it yet, confidence takes practice sometimes, will be so important. And also to always remember, ask more and talk less. That's like huge. Every time I go to type out this huge thing, I'm like, okay, wait, ask more questions, talk less. Let them do more of the talking. And then if you get an objection and you're not sure how to handle it, ask your coach. Like, say, this is an objection I'm getting. This is kind of what we talked about. I know this about her. Is there any way that I can respectfully push back? And your coach is going to help you craft a response that is confident and that could potentially change the perception of that person. And if it doesn't, that's fine, and you can offer, a couple tips, like drink half your body weight in ounces of water or whatever, and tell them that door is always open, right? So I think there's definitely ways to respectfully push back and still make them feel like welcome, and that even if they're not ready right now, like, don't hesitate, you know? So that's what I would do.
I love that. And to like add on to that, kind of like what Paulina was saying too about like, okay, you're going to the gym, but like, what are you doing? Are you seeing results? Are you like liking that? How's your nutrition? Asking all those questions. But something too that no matter what they're doing at the gym, whether they're seeing results or not, like there's no way they're getting the accountability that we give in our group. So that's something that I always say to people, like if they if they're loving all my stuff and clearly we have some type of connection, I'm not just trying to push this on them when they're totally happy with the routine. If I can clearly tell that they could benefit somehow, and they're like doing their own thing at the gym, and that's kind of the objection they're giving me, I'm just like, what do you like? So what's your accountability like? Like, who do you go to when you're struggling? Like, they're not going to get that whether you have a personal trainer or you're just going to the gym by yourself. Like, you don't get the accountability and coaching you get by working with a coach and being in our accountability group. So I definitely use that too. And then like how Jenna said, just kind of being open and honest and saying like, so, a few weeks later, like, are you seeing those results you're looking for? Something else I found too, and it's so silly, like just in our wording, but when someone gives me an objection, like, oh, I can't do that, or I can't afford that, when I kind of come back and say, like, would you be willing to try this for a month? Like, when you ask if they're willing versus will they actually do it, for some reason, just kind of tweaking that wording, it just sets the tone a little different. And 8 out of 10 times, people are like, okay, sure, I will be willing to give it a try. Versus like, I don't know, it's just the wording. Sometimes I swear, like you can just tweak how you say things and it just kind of changes the tone of the conversation. And I find that to be helpful.
I do want to add on to that. Actually, a good point, and I know people struggle with this too, is do I have to do the shake? Or I'm already doing X, Y, and Z shake, so like, can I do that with the program, right? So kind of playing off of that are you willing type thing, like we as coaches have to have that confidence to say, you can do whatever you want, but you reached out to me because you want the best results, number one. Number two, I can only guarantee you the best results when you're following my total system the way it is written by our certified nutritionists and professional trainers. So are you willing to try this for a month? And even before that, ask questions about the shake. Is it a meal replacement? Is it a weight loss shake? Is it, like, I don't even know, like all these other different shakes out there? Ask them questions, learn about it, see if it's even comparable to Shakeology, which it's not, obviously, and educate them like, okay, Shakeology is going to replace a meal. It's a nutrition shake. It's important to be fueling your body. Like, are you willing to at least try this for a month? I'm not saying you have to stop your other stuff, but at least give me an opportunity to help you with the best solution for a month, and then we can go from there. And having that confidence and not backing off and saying, okay, like, you have a shake, so you can just do the workout. It's no big deal. Like, no, guys, our job is not to set someone up with half-assed results. Our job is to set them up with a total solution to get the best results, or they're wasting their money. You know what I mean? So we have to fully believe that. Hopefully, if you're all coaches on our teams, you guys do believe that and you understand the importance, but that needs to be conveyed in our conversations. It's almost like our duty and our obligation that when someone comes to us, we need to help them in the best possible way, and we need to make sure they understand why the total solution is going to be that best option for them. So
I actually was listening to the Team Drop the Cookie team call today that Jessica did. She is health nut, Shakeology nerd, all these things. And so that's one of the things that she talked about was that confidence. And first, to have the confidence, we got to know what we're talking about. So doing that studying, and I think that's where I missed the piece. And today I was like, you know what? I was like, yeah, I know the basic stuff that's on the cover, oh yeah, helps with digestion, just kind of, but I don't really know what's all in there. So I just know I love it and it makes me feel good, which is good to a certain extent. But if I'm going to dig deep with someone and ask them questions all right, so how's your energy? How's your digestion? Are your hormones in balance? And then saying, well, yeah, actually my hormones a bit all over the place. She used that example, well, perfect, because this has this, and this, and then getting them excited to be able to pinpoint and tailor the solution to what they're having issues with besides just want to lose weight. And so I was just listening to it, and I kept going back, wait, let me hear it again. Let me hear that again. And I was like, holy crap. I was like, all right. I downloaded some YouTube videos for my flight tomorrow on, she did one on Shakeology and stuff like that, so that I can really take that in and then kind of maybe go back and backtrack some of the conversations, and be a little bit more specific on that stuff when I post, and see how that does and stuff. But I think that confidence piece is going to come when we really, really know more about the stuff that we're saying that helped us, but be more, I think that'll help us do that confidence thing.
I love that. And that also goes along with trying other products that we have, the beach bars and 3-Day Refresh and the Shakeology Boost and whatever other new things they come out with, and the performance line, because you can speak about it way better if you've already tried it, right? If all you ever do is a 21-day fix and you never try any other fitness program that we have, how can you, promote 80-day obsession or Lift 4 or get people excited about other things that we have if you're not willing to do it yourself, right? But if you have, then you can share your personal experience and talk about why it's made a difference in your life, how it's made a difference in your body, in your energy, and all that other stuff too. So it goes along with everything. And kind of to go back to the whole gym thing, if someone is adamant about working out at the gym, awesome. Work out at the gym. Have a plan. Use BOD. You know what I mean? It's not that difficult. Some people have that whole thing. I don't like to work out at home. All right, no problem. Take it outside. Go to the gym. Use BOD. Same thing. You're not going to plateau because you're constantly challenging your body. You have different programs to continue on with your journey. You're not just okay, Or if you work with a personal trainer, you have, 2-3 sessions, maybe, if you can afford that. And then what? You know what I mean? Like, you can't continue that on, same routine forever. So you just have to kind of like flip that switch for people and say like, oh, wow, she's right. Like, how can I expect different results if I'm just going to continue doing the same shit?
Absolutely. And like what you're saying, Paulina, what we talk about, that's what people become interested in. So think about it. If people are only wanting to do your fitness programs, then that's leaving a little clue, right? So maybe you're not talking about Shakeology enough. Like, if you're on Instagram stories every day posting your workouts, that's consistency. Like, no wonder why people want to know about that, right? But where's your Shakeology? Where's the beach bar? Where's your go-go juice? Where's your recover that's helping with your muscle soreness? Like, obviously without saying the product names, because people Google and they'll just go buy it because they don't understand your value as a coach yet, right? We have to be talking about different things we're using so that when it comes up in conversation, people are already like familiar with it and they've already kind of built up that trust in you. They're already seeing the value because they see you using it every day. So that's really something to keep in mind. If you're coming to a roadblock, like consistent roadblocks in your conversation, ask yourself, what can I be doing better to better educate and communicate the value of this product and why I use it every day in your Instagram stories, your posts, your Facebook posts, even if you're getting a lot of cost objections. Like, I don't know if you guys saw, but I made a post about my literal like sippy cup mini Starbucks small latte that cost me over $4. The thing was literally like this big, not lying. And I was like, people will pay for a shake, but they'll pay for like whatever the large one is. I don't even know. I'm not down with the Starbucks lingo. I'm just like, people, here's a clear example. You're paying for shit like this every day, and you're telling me you want results, but then you're not willing to invest. I call bullshit. That's basically what my post said. So continuing to educate, having that confidence, like I said, and talking more about the different stuff that's so going to help you in your combos.
Yeah, I mean, I can relate. I would drink Starbucks almost every day. I'd waste at least $5 to $10 every single day, but I couldn't afford Shakeology for 6 months. Right? Crazy. On to like share about fitness and people who are already like in a routine but they're lacking that nutritional piece. Katie, I'm going to call on you, and can you share like what you've seen with your Camp Gladiator not clients, I don't know what you call them, campers, right? Mm-hmm. And kind of talk about like even people who have like a set routine that doesn't necessarily mean that they're getting the results that they want.
Yeah, for sure. So it took me a while to kind of get this down because in the beginning when I was starting both of these businesses, because Camp Gladiator is basically your own business as well. You're like partnered with the company, but it's not network marketing. It's a little different. Anyways, it's very focused on just fitness. And we have a program that's called CG Fit that's supposed to be some kind of nutritional thing, but it's not that great. And a lot of people don't sustain it for very long. They might do it for 4 months and then it's not something that they want to keep doing. And so I looked at this situation and thought, okay, they're not getting the full solution here because they're just getting fitness, and I see them for 60 minutes at a time of a workout and then, you know, maybe talk to them a little bit outside of camp. But a lot of them, when I first interact with them, tell me that one of the biggest things is getting their eating down. And I can totally relate because that was me. And so I always share my story with them. And even though they're coming out to me and paying me as a personal trainer, and which with Camp Gladiator, it's so cheap. Like, it's just like, it's so easy for me to like get people with that because I'm selling like $230 challenge packs. You know, that's like the standard now because we have those available and they're getting more value out of them. But even though they're coming out to me for fitness, they still see that value in what I have to offer on the nutrition side. Perfect example is this past camp. I had 2 of my campers who signed up with me for 12 months, paying monthly, and bought 3-day refresh complete kit, or the whole like challenge pack with Shakeology, like for a full month, because they're getting the full solution and they feel like I'm there for them all around. So now I have this outlet of, okay, yes, you have this fitness thing, but if you're not eating right, it's not happening, sister.
Yep. I don't know. Is she frozen? Am I frozen? Uh-oh. Everybody's frozen.
100%. You should be coming at it with like, okay, great. You have a workout routine. Awesome. How's your nutrition looking? Are you finding yourself sore often? Do you use a post-recovery shake or a pre-workout? Have you thought about it before? Maybe get them started with a sampler pack so that they trust it more. Because, I mean, that price of getting them all together, if they're not sure, can be a little scary because they're like, oh, I don't know. And even with the money back guarantee, always offer those sample items, because now you're building trust and you're able to allow them to interact with the products and be able to see if it's the right fit for them. So I think that's a great, like, don't stop the conversation when you find out they have a good workout routine going. That's where you transition to something else. Maybe they'd be a great fit as a coach. Maybe they're struggling with nutrition and that's their thing. Or maybe they just need a community that we have to give them. Everybody comes into Beachbody, I think, needing something a little different. So don't stop there. Just ask lots and lots of questions and build that trust until you can find out if there is a way to help them. And if not, then okay, you just made a new friend and maybe they'll come back to you another time when they have a need for what you have to offer. So yeah.
Amen, girl.
Love it. What other questions do you guys have? I know like a big objection is cost, so I think maybe we should touch on that before we like shut it down. But do you guys have other thoughts, questions? Don't be shy. I'm not gonna bite tonight, at least.
Definitely think you should hit costs, because I know that's a huge one.
Yes.
I think it's kind of funny what I've found since we've had the ultimate package and the mega packs come out and making those available. I always say that ultimate, like the middle package, is my favorite because XYZ, which I tell them it's because you're getting Shakeology, which is the daily superfood shake that I drink every single day. And you're getting this incredible performance line that's going to help you be able to walk the next day when you're really sore after your workouts. So you're getting the whole package. And I've sold quite a few of those because people, it's funny when they feel like they're getting more value, they're willing to spend more money because they feel like they're getting a lot more out of it. So don't be afraid of being like, yeah, this mega pack, this sounds like the one for you, because, and relate back to their goals and why you believe that is the best thing. And ask them, is this the best thing for you? And if it's not, whatever, you can go down to the next one or the next one, whatever, find what works for them. But I think like as a coach, you have to make that option like up front and just ask. Just be like, I think this is the right option for you because you told me this. And they're not going to be like, no, because they told you, they gave you all the ammunition you needed to be able to lead you to that decision.
I love that, Katie. I do the same thing with how you said, like when they realize how much value they're getting, they are willing to spend more. So I kind of make up my own prices, and I don't know if like it's really how Beachbody would break it down or not. But so I always say like all access when I promote it. I'm like, you're getting Beachbody on demand for a year for $100 and your first month of Shakeology for $60. Like that's how I position it. And then like the packages above that. So say like I think there's a $200 challenge pack that might be like the 80-day obsession. And it comes with your first month of Recover and Energize. And I'm like, you're literally getting BOD for a year for $100, which I think that's huge. I always say the real price on that one because $8 a month, like you literally can't beat that. $60 for Shako, and then I'm like, you're literally getting each performance supplement for $20. Like again, I'm just totally making up like these prices. I don't really know like what they break down to. But when you tell them like like originally these are $100 products. Like you're literally getting them for $20. I don't know what is each individually priced. It's not really individually priced because it's a bundle, but when you show them that, break it down for them, and again, like they're getting all of this for this, and you really paint that picture for them, they're like, holy crap, if I buy it as a bundle, I can get it for $20 versus $100. Like, I definitely want to try that out. And then you get them hooked, and then they love it, and they are willing to spend $115 or $80, however much the product may be, the next month because they've experienced it, they've loved it, and they want more of it. So I totally agree with breaking it down and just make up prices if you want. Like, it's not a big deal. And when you kind of position it that way and really show them like $60 for your shake for a month, that's $2 a day. Sometimes I'll even tell people like Beachbody On Demand is $8 a month. You just pay it in a one-time fee for a year. Like smaller prices that are more manageable for them sometimes work better for me at least.
Okay, there's like so many things you guys were both saying. Katie, I love how you do, like, this is my recommended option. You don't really give them a tiered approach. What I have been doing, and who knows, maybe I'll tweak it now, but I've been doing, these are your 3 package options. And I start with like the base challenge pack always, and I kind of build from there. But basically it's showing them like the base comes with Shakeology for the month, like no lower. And then it builds on there. But I love what Michaela's saying and really helping them see the value. So whether that's just with like 1 to start or 2 or 3, whatever it is, that's going to go a long way in your conversations. And you're right. You can be creative with how you break down these bundles. You know what I mean? Like for me, when I think all access, if it's $99 for a year, like $8 a month, like that's cheaper than Planet Fitness, which is the cheapest gym around me. So like I like to kind of be able to relate that to people. And if you're still getting that cost objection, don't say, oh, okay, like maybe next month. Ask them like, okay, if cost is a struggle, do you mind me just asking a couple questions? Maybe a different perspective will help show you how you can make it work. Like I know when my coach took this one step with me further in my, question asking process, like I realized how much money I was actually spending on Dunkin' Donuts every month. And when I replaced it with the shake, I was actually saving. So would you be open to kind of continuing that part of the conversation? I have a couple things that I think you would want to hear. If they say yes, then help them break it down. Ask them, are you spending money on takeout? Are you getting a coffee every single day? Like what do your meals look like every day? Be the coach. Be the person who's going to help them come to a solution. And if cost is legitimately an excuse, because some people I do feel like it is, then ask them what would be more in their budget. Like what's more aligned with their budget, and see if there's something that you could get them started with that fits that price range, so you're at least meeting them where they're at. But you first have to really gently and respectfully ask for permission to offer a different perspective. So I've done that. And sometimes it helps, sometimes it doesn't. But remember, you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. So if someone's open-minded enough to hear you, then that's going to go a long way with someone. Also, I find that this is a perfect opportunity to talk about coaching. Even if they don't decide to go for it, it's putting a bug in their ear. Like it's planting the seed in that moment saying, if you're struggling financially where you can't afford a challenge pack right now, like there's other things that maybe you can start working towards in your life to better it as a whole. And this coaching opportunity can help you. Not only can it help you earn back your initial investment, but it can help you like literally improve your financial stability. It could become your full-time income. Share a success story on your team. Share Christina Delgado's success story. Share Liz Hartkey's success story. Like share your coach's success story. Pull from your resources that you have to convey the power of this opportunity, and don't be afraid to present it. Don't be afraid that if you're offering to show them a different perspective, they're going to say no because they were going to say no anyways. So think about it that way. You can only educate, and it may help show them like, okay, I am making excuses. Here's how I can make this work. And I'm going to do it because I'm desperate and I need out of where I'm at. So that's my recommendation.
I agree with everything that everyone's mentioned. And also just putting yourself in their shoes. So like, for example, if you go out on the weekend and go to brunch and go out for drinks one night, like you spend a good amount of money, like minimum $30 to $50, right? You tell the person like, hey, I get it, money could be tight. Trust me, especially if it's like a college student you're talking to or someone who's like, you know, fresh out of school, whatever. Maybe they don't have like a stable job yet. No problem. But I'm sure they find money to go out and have fun, right? You'll see their stories and their Instagram posts and whatever. They're like brunching it up and shit. And they're like, oh, I can't afford it. Lies. People will find money for the things that they want, right? Mm-hmm. So if you just kind of tell them that way, like, oh, like I get it. Like I was there too, struggling college student, but somehow I found money to go out on the weekends, right? So maybe instead of, you know, going out a few times or going to brunch, like save that money. So that way at the end of the month, you could buy your package. You could get started in our group. You could start seeing results and like loving this whole journey, right? Just breaking it down for them. Or like $100, $160 challenge pack, break it down by 30. It's like less than $5 a day. They're probably spending at least $5 either on coffee, on a snack, on lunch, whatever. Money's going somewhere, right? Like might as well put it to something that's going to help you, something that's healthy. It's going to give you, you know, what you're looking for. As far as breaking it down, like the challenge packs, like Michaela was saying, I think that's a really good idea. However, one thing I would say that maybe I personally wouldn't discount is Shakeology, because if you tell them Shakeology is $60, then the next month, if they're paying $130 for it, they're like, whoa, I don't believe that that's worth it. You know what I mean? So maybe you could tweak it and say you're getting Shakeology at the discount price, like what I pay, and say it like that, like coach price. So it's $100 versus $60, because then it's like not as big of a difference. And then say like the other products like VOD is, you know, $30 off or whatever. You can kind of figure out your calculations from there. But that's the only thing like I personally wouldn't discount, because then it might be harder for them to want to stay on Shakeology if they paid so little at the beginning, you know what I mean? But then if you tell them like, oh, you're getting at, you know, the price that I pay as a discount member, then that could be a way to kind of convert them to a discount coach or a coach, because it could be like, oh, you want to continue paying only $100 on your Shakeology instead of $130, which is retail price. So that's the only suggestion I have as far as that goes. But the bundle deals are obviously the best option. Like Katie said, like if you have those little package options, like the package option 1, option 2, option 3, for the different like Lift 4, for AD Obsession, things like that. I think when people are also given different options, they usually go for the middle one, because they're like, I can't afford the highest price one, and the base one is good, but if I could pay a little bit extra and get like the middle option, it's like some kind of psychological thing. Because then if you just give them one option, say, okay, like this is the challenge pack, they can say yes or no. But if you give them a few options, they're like, okay, like I think I'll do this one.
Yeah, and guys, something I love in that like option approach is, again, not hearing that potential, like if you have, okay, it's a mindset thing, right? If you are getting a lot of cost objections, now you're going to start to fear, oh my gosh, what if this person says no because of cost objection? I know I went through it, right? But once you have the confidence, you have to set yourself up to get this confidence, and you offer them tier options, like Paulina says, they're going to go for it. You're going to be surprised by what people actually decide to go with. Like, I've had so many people go with the mega pack, and I never used to offer the mega pack because I would fear that it would be too expensive. So, that's like the mentality I use now. And if you haven't watched Danielle Natoni's National Wake Up Call, you better go catch the recording, because you need to not only know what package they want, but also just ask, hey, you happen to want to try our beach coffee? What are the flavors? If they're not picking a pack with Energize or Recover, ask if they want to try it. Like, try to ask a different way. The 3-day refresh cleanse. Like, do you have an interest in starting with the cleanse too? You know? And people will tell you, yes, no, yes, no. There's been so many times where people have added on the bars or like Recover randomly, and I'm like, oh, okay, like I never would have offered that. And now you're helping them, and it's building your volume, it's building your income. So don't be afraid to ask. The worst they can say is no or not right now.
Yep.
Love
Totally.
it.
Any last minute questions or comments? Hopefully this was kind of helpful, and just hearing like what other people's responses would be, or just the way you position yourself. And this is all, you know, if you keep running into the same thing, like make a post about it, you know, like handle the objections publicly. And like, for example, Yesenia, when you were saying, Jesse, sorry. If you keep getting people that are kind of like flaky, like call them out, you know, or like in your post, like say like, I'm looking for women who are like ready to go, like who want results, who aren't gonna, you know, like give in their excuses, like no fluff, no BS, like let's do this, you know? Because maybe if you're like not so forward in your messaging, you know, or like very strict with the deadline, okay, like this is my challenge group, this is when it starts, this is the deadline to order, then people are like kind of, you know, gonna be wishy-washy. All right, any last minute words?
Hopefully this helped, guys. And again, don't, you know, hesitate to ask for help from your coach or your team. Like, we've been through it. You know, there's so many great tips that were offered tonight. Like, if you're struggling, post on the team page. You're going to get so much help, and it's going to help show you how you can always work through a conversation. Even when you're getting a no or an objection, you can still do something about that versus just saying, oh, okay, I'll follow up with you never.
Yeah, and practice makes progress. Like I said, if you keep getting a lot of objections or like people are ghosting you, you're just not talking to enough people. Like if I wish I had like a count of how many people I've talked to or messaged or followed up with or whatever, like try to make some kind of connection to. And same thing, like I can look through a lot of my messages and it's like blue, 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 and it's all me talking to myself, you know? And you just kind of learn. You figure out what works, what doesn't work. You know, you try a different invitation, you try a different approach. Or if you keep like feeling stuck, then like screenshot it, post it in our team pages, and like let us kind of give you some feedback on maybe how we would word something differently or approach a specific objection if you keep running into the same issue. And hopefully it'll help, and it'll help everybody else too kind of get some insight. Because I mean, you know, this is all learning every single day. Like 5 years in, still learning. Because some things that worked 2 years ago don't work anymore, or vice versa, you know, like, so you just have to kind of continue like adapting and evolving and learning and growing as a person and as a coach and just figuring it out. But don't lose sight of how amazing you are, how capable you are. Like, even if you keep getting no's, it's not personal. Like, that's what you have to learn, number one. Like, right off the bat, especially new coaches, this shit ain't personal. Don't take it personally if someone says no to you. Just like if you walk into a store and the person asks you, like, hi, can I help you? And you say no. That person doesn't go home and cry because you said no and you didn't buy anything. You know what I mean? Like, you have to just shake it off. Just talk to new people and make new friends.
The only last two things I want to add, guys, is you build confidence through trial and error, and also from personal development as well. There's 2 books I highly recommend to help with conversations and mindset around conversations. The first one is Go for No. I think it's by Richard Fenton, Fenton. Like, I literally highlighted that whole book. So helpful. And the other book is Get Over Your Damn Self by Romy, something with an N. Sorry, I can post it after. But Romy's book, or however you say her name, that's like all about network marketing. So it's a different industry, but it's interesting to see her very straightforward approach. And there's a lot we can leverage from that. And Go for No is going to help you look at no's as a stepping stone to a yes, which we all need to hear. We all need to get over that pity party we throw ourselves when someone says no. We just got to keep going and know that every no is getting us closer to that yes. So those are the 2 books. Yes, thank you. Yes, Amanda, perfect. And Go for No by Richard Fenton.
Yep. I love it. All right. Well, we'll be seeing some of you very shortly. So that's exciting. So if you're going to Summit, can't wait to see you and hug you guys and hang out. And
get to next year's Summit.
Yes, if not,
one Thursday night.
Yes. Buy your ticket, watch the live stream of the opening and closing ceremonies. Obviously, we'll keep you guys posted in the team pages of new updates and information, but there's nothing like being there live. So, brace yourselves. All right. Well, have a great night, everybody. We'll see you soon.